are chanting, and apparently they're against fascism, but they also don't want to have debate. They're blocking us, blocking the press from seeing what they're up to. Don't you think this is a bit fascisty, what you're doing?
In January 2026, the NHS will begin an ideologically driven experiment on children who falsely believe that they were born in the wrong body by giving them drugs to suppress their puberty. I'm Connie Shaw, this is GB News Originals. In 2024, under the Conservative government, Dr. Hilary Cass's report into medical treatments for young people who identify as transgender was released. She found there was almost no evidence to justify the interventions in children's physical health, namely the use of puberty blockers. She described them as powerful drugs with unproven benefits and significant risks for children. The use of puberty blockers was halted, except in the context of an experimental trial, to find this lacking evidence. When Labour was elected into government, Health Secretary Wes Streeting continued this ban, but has allowed an experimental trial to go ahead. The trial itself will track a very small number of children and follow them for only 2 years. There will be no way to tell what happens when they go into adulthood. There will be no way of knowing if they go on to take cross-sex hormones. There will be no way of knowing if they have regrets later on in life. The trial could have looked at the 2,000 children who have already been given puberty blockers. Instead, more children will now be given them despite this lack of evidence. It is a lie that puberty blockers give children time to think. Cass herself said that there is no evidence that puberty blockers buy time to think, since the vast majority of children who were given puberty blockers at the Tavistock Clinic have gone on to take cross-sex hormones. This means if they take them, they will likely be left infertile and will never reach sexual maturity. We know that the majority of children who have already been given these drugs are same-sex attracted. And we know that these children have been indoctrinated to believe that without these drugs, they will kill themselves, a disgusting lie that has been disproven, yet continues to be pushed by activists and results in children doing anything they can to get their hands on these harmful drugs. This trial is driven by ideology rather than reality. It is based on the presumption that it is possible for humans to change sex, or at least to live as though they are the opposite sex. We know that this is not true. It is a mystery how this trial received ethical approval. However, MPs from across different political parties are raising the alarm. On the 17th of December, opponents to the trial protested outside the Department for Health and Social Care. They were met by counter-protesters from Trans Kids Deserve Better, the same group which released crickets at the LGB Alliance conference in 2024, disrupting the event, a gathering of lesbian, gay and bisexual people.
Scum! Fascist scum! Off the streets! Fascist scum!
Most of them were wearing masks, some of them fashioned out of keffiyehs. There were some older adult men, also masked, acting like security guards for the majority of the group who were much younger. No one was willing to give me any coherent explanation or argument as to why they were there. Over at the main protest, no one was concealing their identity. People were happy to speak to me, including young people.
Why are you here today?
Because gay teens aren't sick, and the medicalisation of the gay kids, it's terrifying what the puberty blockers trial is doing. A lot of the kids who are going to be taking part in the puberty blockers trial are actually just confused gay kids, and what this trial is doing is it's medically and chemically, surgically trying to fix them from being gay, essentially.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
And so yeah, I'm here to protest against that because we need to stop the trial, we need to protect gay kids, we need to show that actually it's okay to be gender non-conforming, you don't have to change yourself, you don't have to fix yourself because of it, there's nothing wrong with it.
The people over there, they didn't tell me much, but all they had to say was that their lives and human rights are not up for debate. What would you say back to them?
We're not debating their lives, we're not debating their human rights. Frankly, this has not that much to do with them. This is about protecting gay kids, this is about protecting women's rights. We're not saying they don't exist, we're not saying that they don't have any rights. What rights are we protesting against?
Why do you think they're all masked?
Hard to say. I think they think that, you know, there's a threat to them, that they might sort of. It's hard to say, I think, but I think it's to protect their identities because they think people are out to get them.
I spoke to Jennifer Melee, the nurse who has been suspended by the NHS after she referred to a male paedophile who identified as a woman as Mr. The patient subjected her to racial verbal abuse, yet she was the one who was punished. She had a very strong message for Wes Streeting.
Jennifer, have you had any support from people like Wes Streeting within the government about your case?
Since the last time we alerted Wes Streeting regarding this case with the NHS, with the transgender paedophile, and being suspended from work, he did respond that he understands and is against me being called, you know, the N1 multiple times, but he wouldn't stand up for my case. He refused to support me. And why? It's because he supports the, you know, this agenda that is to destroy the lives of the young people, and for us to say no to puberty blockers and to say no Wes Streeting, this is wrong. Allow children to grow, allow them to be. Is the dreadful thing, you know, for the health secretary to allow this to happen is terrible. So Wes Streeting, please stop this madness. It's terrible. We can't carry on like this. This is awful for a health secretary, for you to sign this bill. So we urge you to stop this and stop it now.
Amongst the MPs who were speaking was Sarah Pochin from Reform, who had some very concerning things to say about what she heard in Parliament.
This is nothing short of state-sponsored child abuse.
Why is it so important that this is a cross-party issue? It's very rare that we see Labour MPs or ex-Labour MPs and independents with Reform. Why is it so important to you that people unite over this?
It's so important and so powerful when you get cross-party action like this. It proves that the issue is wrong, the issue needs to be stopped, and that people are prepared, people like me, to put party politics aside in the interest of the vulnerable children that are going to be part of this trial. It's so important that we stop this, that politics goes out the window. This is a real example of where politics should be put to one side and that children should be put first.
And could you repeat again what it was you were told in the chamber about about the trial and the effects that some people want to see the effects of the drugs on certain children?
Absolutely. So that actually was in Westminster in a meeting chaired by Wes Streeting, and it was a panel of the clinicians that are going to run this trial. They were the most frightening bunch of individuals, and I actually said that to them. It was spine-chilling what they were telling us. about, and they were so cold in the way that they want to just carry out this trial for their own research purposes with no interest of the children at heart. But what I asked them to do was to exclude, if we can't stop this trial, I asked them to exclude children already labelled as vulnerable young people, like the children in the care system, children already labelled with anxiety issues, ADHD issues. And I was told very clearly in that meeting that those children, they actually wanted to be involved in the trial so that they could see the effect of the drugs on the drugs that those kids are already taking. It's frightening.
What do you think their real motivation is? Do you think, because how could someone be so possibly uncaring towards vulnerable children? Do you have any suspicions about what their motivations are?
Look, the fact is, as I just said, there's 2,000 young people for which we have data that have taken these drugs. Wes Streeting could access, by introducing statutory legislation, he could access that data. He's refusing to do that. He wouldn't answer my question just 10 minutes ago in the chamber on that very subject. This is motivated by a trans lobby movement of activists. They are powerful, they are strong, and these Labour frontbench ministers are literally doing what their backbenchers want them to do.
Conservative MP Tom Tugendhat was also there speaking, and he even apologised for being late to the fight. This is what he's had to say to me.
Why is it important for you to be here today?
Well, look, this trial is seeking to conduct medical experiments on children as young as 8. That is a remarkable and pretty horrific thing to do. You know, this isn't a life-saving medical treatment that you must experiment on because otherwise the child would die. This is an experiment in order to validate a political concept called gender incongruence, but nobody has been able to medically or legally define that term. So it's very hard to understand how you can possibly experiment to either confirm or deny treatment for it.
Wes Streeting said that he does feel uncomfortable with this trial.
I'm not comfortable, candidly, about it.
Why are you allowing it?
Because the two overriding concerns that I have, the only two really, are firstly, how do we keep these children safe and how do we make sure they receive effective and evidence-based care? And secondly, to follow clinical advice.
But it's still going ahead. Do you think he's trying to shift the blame?
No, I think he's wrong, frankly. Look, I'm sure he feels uncomfortable with it. He should listen to those feelings and he should stop it. The problem he's got is the problem that we're seeing throughout government. We're seeing consistent default to the experts. You listen to the expert and that's the answer. No, that's not the answer. The answer is political leadership that is designed to protect those who are most vulnerable. And here, very clearly, that is 8-year-old children.
It seems as though everyone is abdicating responsibility. Streeting says he is listening to the scientists, and Hilary Cass has told Hannah Barnes at the New Statesman, and I quote, that she didn't even necessarily anticipate whether or not such a trial would get through an ethics committee, or whether a group of academics would be able to even design a trial given the circumstances that we're in now. She went on to say, I didn't prejudge whether it would happen, and if the ethics committee had said, despite everything, we don't think this is an ethical approach, then I would have been content with that too. At one point at the trans counter-protest, a banner which read, Arm Trans Kids was being held. Police asked them to take it down.
Trans liberation!
I genuinely don't mind today. No, I don't mind today. No, I thought this might happen. I wasn't about to make No, I get where we started getting reasonable, and I'm not going to win an argument with you, and I don't want that to take. Well, that's why I thought that. I was testing the waters to see as well. It is a
No, I think it's fine. I think we just come in a bit. We could just back ourselves in a bit.
I asked the counter-protesters whether they felt the way they were presenting themselves would convince onlookers that they were on the right side of this debate. They didn't seem very sure.
Do you think the way that you're presenting yourself is convince people that you guys are Do you think, sorry?
You're harassing teenagers.
Am I harassing them? They're out here protesting.
You're
Would you like to say something?
No.
Are you masked?
Huh?
Why are you masked? Why can't this person speak to me? Why are you telling them not to? What is that reputation?
You can understand the reputation that GB News has.
What is that?
Relatively negative.
Would you not like, again, you seem a lot older than lots of the children or young people who are here today. Why are you supporting them in there? Where even is the camera? Right, so these guys are chanting and apparently they're against fascism, but they also don't want to have debate. They're blocking us, blocking the press from seeing what they're up to. Don't you think this is a bit fascisty, what you're doing? Trying to stop us from having conversations?
I don't think you know what that word means.
What does it mean? Go on, define fascism for me.
I think you can look it up.
Sorry?
I think you can look it up.
If you know it so much better than me, why don't you explain it? Because as far as I'm aware, fascism loves authoritarianism, and this seems quite fascist to me. Trying to block us from having conversations.
The protest against the puberty blocker trial was centred around MPs physically delivering a letter to Wes Streeting at the Department of Health. Yet the police advised them against delivering the letter due to the threat from the trans counter-protests. But they insisted and had to be escorted in. Who would you be more convinced by, on presentation alone? The vulnerable young people who are so radicalised that they feel the need to dress like jihadis and intimidate MPs? Or the concerned parents, lesbians and gay men who acknowledge the reality of biological sex? Let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe for more of these reports. I'm Connie Shaw and you've been watching GB News Originals.